Welcome along to Zooming with Driven, and of course it is a special. It is the Car of the Year special, week 2 of it, and today we're getting into clean cars. The team that we have here is Damien, of course, a member of our Driven team, and we also have Allister Wade, who is from AA Motoring and one of the judging panel for the Car of the Year. And this range of episodes is brought to you by Winger Motors, home of Subaru, Suzuki. Visit one of their 6 dealerships from the North Shore to Hamilton. Great people, top car brands, the best deals. That is at winger.co.nz, and of course we do really appreciate their support. So it's also up to you to decide on the Car of the Year, and please do vote. Go and find that at driven.co.nz, vote for the Car of the Year, and you could win $5,000 worth of fuel charge, whether that be diesel, petrol or electric charge, which is a hell of a prize, so go and have your say. Let's get into it. Clean cars, and we're going to go through the categories this year for this year's competition. So let's kick it off with HEVs, or hybrid electric vehicles.
Hybrid electric vehicles, yes indeed. Everyone sort of thinks of the Toyota Prius when you say hybrid, but I mean that was a very long time ago now, and now everyone's doing hybrids.
Yeah, but the benchmark of the whole thing, really.
It still is, yeah, it's still absolutely up there. But, you know, the competition, shall we say, are catching up.
Yep.
Certainly, as is shown by the 3 finalists we've got here. First up, Honda ZR-V. Now, the ZR-V launched a couple of months back. It's actually around the same size as the CR-V used to be, but now the CR-V is getting bigger. So the ZR-V is kind of slotted in there. Super economical. It uses the same hybrid drivetrain as the Jazz, which is super economical, but with a bigger engine. So it's got a 104 kilowatt, 182 newton metre, 2 litre petrol.
Yep.
And it will do 5.5 litres per 100 k's.
Incredible.
And the best thing about the ZR-V is it's just like the Jazz, and if you just leave it to do its thing, don't even have to think about modes, don't even have to think about anything. It does make sure it's in the most economical place.
Yeah, and this is when we talk about these kind of HEVs or hybrid electric vehicles. These are the ones that people are a little bit scared to go the whole hog. Often tend to go for because it's it's what people know. It's proven technology.
Absolutely, and I mean you don't have to think about charging them. You just jump in, fill it with petrol like a normal car. Yeah, off you go. There's only one hybrid in the ZR-V lineup. That's the ZR-V Sport, and it's $55,000, which seems a lot, but it's actually quite a big car. So it's you know, very good value for money.
Well done, Honda. Next car on the list.
Okay, next on this list is the Kia Niro. It's one of my all-time favourites.
I love the Niro too.
It's just gone through so many different generations as it sort of developed into this benchmark car, really. You know, starting from 44,990, going all the way up to 59,990. It's got that continuous variable transmission, and again, it's just a good-looking car. It sort of stands out from the crowd. Like Damien was saying, you don't really have to think about driving a hybrid. It does it for itself. So you're kind of getting that shared electric petrol drive, but not having to really put any input into it. So you just hop into it and you're going to get your sort of 5 litres per 100k on most of these sort of HEV vehicles. So it is, your initial savings there on the fuel economy is unbelievable.
The Niro is also the most economical, claimed anyway. 4.4 litres per 100k.
And I mean, that's what these cars do so well with their regenerative braking. Even stop-start traffic, they're still doing particularly well, even better in some instances.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like 4.4 is amazing.
Incredible.
I have scooters that use more than Right, next car.
Next car is the expected Toyota. It's the Corolla Cross. Possibly the most inevitable car in the world. I mean, of course, Toyota are going to do an SUV version of its most popular car and power it by the best hybrid drivetrain it's got, which is the Corolla hatch. Again, it sort of sits between the smaller CHR and the RAV4. It's bigger than a Corolla, obviously, being an SUV.
It's a small SUV. It's like when you first hear about the name, you think of a small
hatch,
passenger hatch. But when you actually hop into it, it's almost like a miniature RAV4.
Yeah, and is that because the ability of these drivetrains to be smaller, or is it, or are they? No, the drivetrains on these cars tend to be a bit bigger.
I think it's just like the platform that they have. They can share it between different models. Yeah. So that in itself is actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Toyota's platform is incredibly scalable, and it actually sits under most of its cars. Yeah. Like the RAV4, the Yaris, all of those things use a different variation of the same platform.
Boy, you guys have driven some cars. So what has Toyota specifically done that is so right here? What really gets you?
It's just they haven't shot for anything revolutionary. They haven't done anything spectacular in terms of in terms of like looks. It's a fairly generic looking SUV.
Yeah, they've got a vehicle that's sort of within that budget.
Yeah.
Sort of around that $43,000 that is achievable for most sort of family members these days.
Yeah.
And you're still getting your 4.7, 4.9 litres per 100k. So again, it's a well-priced package that the average person can actually afford.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the accountant approves it as well, don't
Yeah,
you? You know, you save that much on your fuel bills, all of a sudden the payments on a new car become very affordable.
Absolutely. Well, even the top spec all-wheel drive version is 53 grand.
Yeah, right.
You know, and because there was such a huge waiting list for RAV4s,
There was spillover.
a lot of people were buying the Corolla Cross instead.
Yeah, right.
I think it's almost a better car.
But hey, you got to congratulate them. If you've got a waiting list for your product, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
Right, next category. Congratulations to our 3 finalists in that. But we are moving now on to the FEV category, or the plug-in electric vehicle, which of course is best of both worlds. There's a battery element, but of course there's a traditional engine. So if you need to tow the boat to Wellington, you probably still can.
Absolutely.
The finalists, please.
Not sure.
You go for it. You can start with it.
Yeah. Well, the first one is the Audi Q5 TFSI-E. Now, Audi have dropped the e-tron name from their plug-in hybrids, which they always used to have.
Yep.
That's just for their EVs now. So this one has just got the E suffix on the end,
Yep.
to denote it's a hybrid. And it looks like just an ordinary Q5. It looks nothing special. It's the
Well,
Q5
come on, a
that we're
Q5 is a
Q5
bloody nice looking car.
It is a good looking car, but it's like just an SUV. It's a
Yep.
European mid-size SUV. This looks no different, but it's got just some of the cleverest hybrid technology in the world in it. It's just insanely good at. It does things like using the satellite navigation. It knows if there's a roundabout coming up that you're going to enter soon. It bumps up the regeneration on the brakes because it'll actually sort of...
It takes over everything. It thinks
does.
for
It
you,
just thinks
which is
for you.
really amazing.
Can you explain what you mean by that, if it does the thinking for you?
So it uses satellite navigation and maps to determine where your location is, and so if it predicts it, and with the way that the vehicle slows down, it knows that you're coming to an intersection, so therefore it will assist and put the regeneration so you get more charge back into the hybrid battery.
Wow. And how have Audi done on the price point on this?
Well, this is a little bit higher. You know, 'cause we step from the sort of like the Neros and the Toyotas. This is around the sort of 114, 115 plus on roads.
900 plus on road.
And then we go into the PHEV, you've got that range of, the Audi's got 57k on PHEV, so like I live on the shore, I can probably get to work and back on a single charge.
Yeah.
So it makes people think, well, I could actually buy a PHEV and commute for hardly anything.
Plug it in overnight and never use any petrol.
It's funny how those smaller type batteries, you think, how does that work? Until you have one and you go, oh, it's doing it 90% of the time, if not 100.
And the good thing I like about the PHEVs is because I've got a younger family, you can actually play a game with it. You can see how far you can get. You know, so you are driving a little bit light for throttle.
Yeah, you do.
So you can get there, and it's like, can we get to the shop? Yeah, let's go. And like, you just before the engine
saving
kicks
gas
in.
is then you get there faster, right?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Well, I don't know about you, but sort of obsessive compulsive. I just try to run it on electricity as much of the time as possible, even if I'm not trying. And I mean, going back to the price on the Audi, it's 115 grand, but it's an Audi SUV. It's fully loaded with everything. It's got a beautiful interior. It's a $115,000 car, regardless of the powertrain.
And it's got amazing horsepower and torque. Like 220 kilowatts and 450 newton meters.
It's a fast car.
It's a fast car. You know?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe not as fast as your car, Sam, but you know.
Well, mate, I'm in a Kia Carnival these days. I got 3 kids, so it's faster than mine. Now, Mazda is our next finalist, the CX-60. Now, haven't we already seen this in another category winner?
Indeed, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the SUV large.
And the reasons is it is actually a good car. It's actually bigger than what I thought a CX-60 would be. You know, I drove one here actually today, and just the pure look of it when you stand back is actually quite.
I agree.
It sets us awe. It's like
it is as European as a Japanese car.
It looks like a Jag. It's got a long bonnet. It's just like for dynamics and looks.
So why has it made it?
Again, Mazda with their sort of PHEV ranges and everything like that, you've got a vehicle around that sort of 80 grand mark that can get you the 50, 60k PHEV range and have amazing torque. You know, this clicks over 500 newton meters compared to the Audi. So again, they're kind of trying to be efficient but still give a bit of fun. You know?
Yeah, cool.
So
let's compare those
balance.
price points then with the CX-60. How does that compare to the Q5?
Wow, you know.
Well, I mean, the CX-60 is expensive for a Mazda.
Yeah.
but not. I mean, it's still well cheaper than the Audi. And to be fair, they've really upped the sort of whole luxury pretensions there, and it's a superbly well-made car.
Yeah.
That is almost up with the Audi in terms of interior quality.
The interior quality on the Mazda, that's so nice.
Staggering. So the range starts on the PHEVs at 78,990.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And it tops out with the Takami at 90,990.
Yeah.
But
hey, that's
maybe
nice.
Maybe a lot for a Mazda, but it's not a lot.
And I think that's what you
get.
Yep.
What you need to do when you hop in these cars, because we drive so many cars, you have to reset each time you hop into it and just drive it for what it is. And it drives amazing. I was actually blown away.
Yeah.
3.3, it's just
3.3.
Which is really nice.
Oh, to 100.
Yep.
Oh, no, that's the size of the engine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want one.
I'm sold. Third contender.
So third contender is the Mitsubishi Outlander. This is, again, it's one that we couldn't really miss off the list because it just ticks every single box within that range and comes in a lot cheaper than our other ones. So
more expensive than it was.
Yes.
Starts at 62,990.
Yeah, sure.
And tops out at 79,990.
Yeah.
Whereas the old model was considerably cheaper than that. But then this is a considerably better car.
I convinced my sister to take the leap into the newer shape, and she hasn't regretted it.
It's a good looking shape because they had that shape for so long, and it's just like every time you saw one, you're like, is that you or old? Or Now you can tell that someone's upgraded in your neighbourhood.
Yeah.
But with 84k range too, is pretty impressive.
Range.
You could probably, for me, there and back twice. To
You're the same as me. You have no life. You only go 8Ks per day.
I
only have to drive to work and home again.
Most people do. I think the average commute's about 20 Ks or something a day. And allowing for a pop to the supermarket and pick up the kids from school, 84 Ks. Plug it in each night. You'd never use petrol.
Right, that's Fev. We're going pure now. We're going for the purists. The BEVs or the battery electric vehicle. Now, can someone remind me of the winner of this category last year? Was it the BYD?
Yes,
it was. The BYD Atto 3.
It was a standout.
The Atto 3, which is an exceptionally good car.
Yep.
And no surprise then that the BYD Dolphin has made the top 3 this year.
Not the Atto 3 though.
Not the Atto 3, no. Well, they move very, very fast in that category. There's stuff coming out all the time.
Because all 3 of these are all new to the market.
Absolutely.
So
they've just landed this year. So
manufacturers haven't had them before, so they're pretty sensational.
Well, the Dolphin is part of the, what do they call it?
Like the Ocean series.
Okay. Obviously, Dolphin.
Yeah.
So its interior, it's a lot more reserved.
Shells and waves.
The
door handles are like pectoral fins of a dolphin.
Okay.
And, there's shells and there's like stingray shapes in the vent.
I can see another kid's game here. Driving all these different cars.
It's a lot more sort of traditional reserve.
It's funny you say that about kids' games because everywhere I go in the BYD and the Atto 3, it's literally I've got 3 kids playing the door banjos.
It'd be good if you could turn those off or strengthen them so they can't twang them.
It'll just make it louder.
Yeah.
Right, congratulations BYD. Once again, you're a finalist.
Absolutely. The Dolphin comes in cheaper than the Atto 3 is now, in fact. It's $49,990 for the standard range model, which has got a 45 kilowatt hour battery and a range of 340 kilometres. But the one that everyone's probably going to buy is the 60 kilowatt extended range model, 60 kilowatt hour, sorry. It's got a 427 kilometre range. It's $55,990 and it's just fully loaded. It's just got everything in it, and it's a really nice little car to drive.
And it gives you that peace of mind that if you want to go away for the weekend, you can.
427
Ks, you can stretch out a lot.
Plus you've got the room because it's got quite a lot of leg room in the rear for a relatively small car.
Cool. Right, this is a car I've never driven. I have never driven any of the MGs, and the MG4 is on the list as a finalist for the BEV category, so tell me about it.
Oh, to be honest, I was actually blown away by the MG4. It's just something that it actually wanted to wheel spin when I hopped into it, and I thought maybe it was me, but like it's not super powerful, but it's exciting. It does get your blood sort of pumping when you hop into it.
It's a rear drive car.
Yeah, it's rear wheel drive.
Small rear drive.
But for me, I'm 6'2". It's got enough room. Like I always sit in the driver's seat and then have a look if there's room in the passenger. There was room in the passenger seat. Boot space was good. For under sort of 50 grand. Well, the beauty of the MG is it's quite an extensive range, not kilometres, a range of cars available. Starts at $46,990 for the 51 kilowatt hour model, which when you throw in your $7,000 clean car rebate,
That's an under 40 grand.
Yeah, that's insane.
And it's insanely good value for money.
Yeah.
It's got about 350k range.
Yeah, okay.
And then they go right up to larger models with more in them, bigger batteries. They'll do 430k's.
Yeah, right.
On the road. And then the top one is absolutely spectacular.
Berserk in terms of performance.
MG XPower, 320 kilowatt all-wheel drive.
Can we just pause on that? 320 kilowatts. So that's times by 1.34. So that is 390. It's over 400 horsepower.
It's
Pretty impressive. Out of what you'd call almost like your day-to-day.
Yep.
I can't
car.
even-
It's a $70,000 car, $69,990, and it's doing supercar 0 to 100 times.
Yeah.
3.8
seconds.
3.8 seconds.
Mental.
And it's mad.
Cool.
It's so much fun.
Final car in this category is
The Ford Mustang Mach-E.
controversial. Just 'cause they took the
Controversial.
Mustang shape and made it.
I don't know what's more controversial. I think it's probably that it's an SUV rather than an EV.
And throw 4 doors. Most Mustangs
of course.
I know.
2-door. So
It's everything
it's
we know a
everything.
Mustang isn't.
Yeah.
You see them and you go, it looks good.
looks good.
I like it.
It makes people talk.
It does,
Because it's
absolutely.
different. It's
Yeah.
not the traditional flow of the Ford Mustang, but the Mach-E, as a car, the Mach-E, sensational.
That's fantastic.
Rear-wheel drive, under 79,990, get your rebate. And you're driving a Mustang.
Yeah,
You don't have
it's-
to say to people, oh, look, I've got an electric Mustang. I drive a Mustang.
Isn't it funny how these electric cars they've taken us away with what we've known. In some respects, we've come back, but we've gone back to rear-wheel drive in some of these.
We've gone
cars.
back to rear-wheel drive. We've gone back to small hatchbacks.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I'm going to sound like a bit of a one-note sort of petrol head, volt head here, and say the best one is the top of the range, 125 grand all-wheel drive GT. That is berserk. It's 0 to 103.7 seconds, so fractionally faster than the $70,000 car we talked about before. But it's just everything that a Mustang, if they made an all-wheel drive V8 GT coupe, this is what it would feel like.
The torque and power is unbelievable.
Insane.
We had it down at Hampton Downs on a track day, obviously not out on the road.
Yeah.
And it was amazed at what the safety features also, how far you push them and how far they
can hang the back end.
I love the 3 modes that the vehicle had. So like it had the whisper mode, which is eco,
quiet,
then you had active, but then the one I loved is untamed. So it was just like, let it all go.
And it's even got a fake roar. It reminded me very much of a mix between a Focus ST and a rear drive GT V8 Mustang.
Yeah,
and that you nail the throttle like through a corner or something. The front will do like a bit of torque steer and a bit of like the ST would, and then the back kicks in and it might come out.
Yeah.
But it's all very contrived.
Yes.
It's not like a poorly designed stability system. It's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, right.
It knows that's what people who buy this
Is that right?
car. Yeah.
And all these vehicles are designed to keep you safe on the road. So
it'll still
to give you a bit of fun, but you're going to get home at the end of your drive.
Look at us, speaking passionately about electric cars and even referencing tracks,
an electric SUV.
It's amazing. Right, they are our finalists, and we're going to get into the next category that we're going to be talking about next week in just a second. But please, Damien, could you just get us across what's happening in the print edition this weekend and every weekend?
Absolutely. This weekend, we're going MG. We've got the XPower, which is superb and we love it. And we also take a look at the original MG XPower SUV from 20 years ago, which was a V8 monstrosity. I don't know. It was a parts bin special. It's all sorts of strange and just absolutely awesome. And then, of course, we've got our weekly Carbid Classic. We look at a video classic from the past, and this week it's Bill Murray's return to Groundhog Day and an ad he did for the Jeep Gladiator.
Very cool.
Which is every bit as funny as you would expect, and I'm sure a very healthy payday for Bill Murray indeed.
Indeed, lucky bugger, eh? Wouldn't it nice to get one of those rollbacks? And for all the daily news, make sure you go to drivencarguide.co.nz. There is so much there. Next week, we move to passenger class cars, so hatches, sedans, wagons, basically anything that's not an SUV, plus sports and performance, a category that we are all enthusiastic about. So thank you so much. Before we go to Winger Motors, of course, the home of Subaru and Suzuki, you can find them at winger.co.nz. Thank you for sponsoring and keeping the show alive, and thank you to you for listening each week. More to come next week. We will see you then.